Amass.
สะสม
Richard III amassed an army of 12,000 men near Leicester. Banish.
ขับไล่
In the past, they could banish you from your homeland. Battle.
การต่อสู้
He was killed in 1485 in a battle. Beak.
จะเงยปาก
Male blackbirds have a yellow beak. Big-headed.
ยิง
Despite her success, she isn't big-headed. Brutality.
ความโหดร้าย
The Vikings were notorious for their brutality. Burial.
การฝังศพ
They found the site of Richard's burial. Carve.
แกะสลัก
The Vikings carved the letters of the alphabet on stone tablets. Coffin.
โลงศพ
They buried him without a coffin. Condition.
เงื่อนไข
The skeleton was found in good condition. Crops.
พืชผล
I grow my own vegetables and cereal crops. Cruel.
โหดร้าย
Sue says some really cruel things. Cunningly.
ตลบตะแลง
The document was cunningly hidden so no one could find it. Curved.
โค้ง
My spine is badly curved so I often have backache. Deduce.
อนุมาน
I won't give you the answer. You have to deduce it. Deformed.
พิการ
The skeleton had a deformed spine. Descendant.
ลูกหลาน
Benedict Cumberbatch is a descendant of King Richard III. Desolate.
อ้างว้าง
The place looked desolate. How could anybody live there? Drown.
จมน้ำ
The sea is too rough. You'll drown if you dive in. Embark.
เริ่มดำเนินการ
I'm going to embark on a voyage of exploration as a marine biologist. Excavate.
ขุด
They had to excavate in a car park to find Richard's skeleton. Expedition.
การเดินทาง
My dad mounted an expedition to the Amazonia. Extort.
กันโชค
My ex-boyfriend tried to extort money from me. Ferocious.
ดุร้าย
The Vikings made a ferocious attack on an English monastery. Friary.
วัด
They buried his remains in a friary graveyard. Funeral.
งานศพ
I read a poem at my father's funeral. Genealogically.
ลำดับวงตระกูล
I can't believe you are genealogically linked to my grandma. Graveyard.
สุสาน
My granddad is buried in the city's graveyard. Grindstone.
หินเจียน
They sharpened their weapons with a grindstone. Hot-tempered.
อารมณ์ร้อน
Apparently, Eric the Red was hot-tempered and angered easily. Hunchback.
หลังค่อม
Richard III had a deformed spine and was a hunchback. Incessantly.
ไม่หยุดหย่อน
She talked incessantly for 2 hours. Intrigued.
ทึ่ง
I wanted to know the end of the story. I was intrigued. Jaw.
กราม
My jaw hurts and all I can eat is soup. Lamentable.
น่าเศร้า
The monastery is in a lamentable state. Light-hearted.
ใจบ้า
The play wasn't light-hearted, it actually made you think. Livestock.
ปศุสัตว์
I live in a farm where I tend the livestock. Monastery.
อาราม
There used to be a monastery here. Now it's all ruins. Muscular.
มีกล้ามเนื้อ
My legs aren't very muscular. I need to exercise more. Nimble.
ว่องไว
My child has a nimble mind. She learns very quickly. Ointment.
ครีม
Rub this ointment on your legs twice a day. Parliament.
รัฐสภา
The Althing is the oldest parliament in the world. Pillager.
ผู้ปล้นสะดม
I didn't steal the money. I'm not a pillager. Plead.
ขอร้อง
I'm not going to plead with them to set you free. Portray.
วาดภาพ
The novel portrays life in the 19th century. Raider.
ผู้บุกรุก
The Vikings were raiders. Reign.
รัชกาล
The Vikings reigned in Europe for 300 years. Remarkably.
อย่างน่าทึ่ง
The facial reconstruction looked remarkably similar to his portraits. Saga.
นักปรัชญา
The figure of Odin was taken out of a Viking saga. Seize.
ยึด
Richard III seized the throne from his brother's sons. Settlement.
การตั้งถิ่นฐาน
They've found a new Viking settlement near the coast. Site.
เว็บไซต์
Richard's burial site was found in a car park. Skeleton.
โครงกระดูก
The skeleton was in good condition. Skull.
กะโหลก
A facial reconstruction of the skull was made. Somersault.
ตีลังกา
He ended his routine in a somersault. Spine.
กระดูกสันหลัง
He had a disease which affected his spine. Steady.
คงที่
I might be old, but I still have a steady hand. Striking.
โดดเด่น
He looked striking with his long red hair. Subsequently.
ในเวลาต่อมา
There was a monastery here, which was subsequently destroyed. Suet.
น้ำมันแผ่น
I used suet for the pastry. That's why it's so tasty. Supple.
อ่อนนุ่ม
My grandma is still quite supple. She exercises every day. Tend.
มีแนวโน้ม
Could you tend the livestock while I'm away? Thereby.
ด้วยประการฉนี้
He answered all the questions, thereby winning the contest. Throne.
บัลลังก์
Both brothers fought for the throne of England. Tough.
ยาก
This steak is so tough. I can't chew it. Trim.
ตัดแต่ง
You're actually quite trim. Do you exercise a lot? Tyrant.
ทรราช
According to Shakespeare, Richard III was a hunchbacked tyrant. Ultimately.
ในที่สุด
12,000 Vikings ultimately settled in Iceland. Uncommonly.
ผิดปกติ
She was uncommonly relaxed before the exam. Victim.
เหยื่อ
Don't blame him, he's the victim. Warrior.
นักรบ
The life of a warrior was hard in the 8th century. Withered.
รีบ
He was born with a withered arm. Youth.
ความยาว
I've grown old now, but in my youth I could run a marathon.